to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
And we are back. It is Super Bowl weekend. I'm quite excited. I'm very excited to watch the Super Bowl tomorrow. But I'm also going to go to the symphony tomorrow. So it's going to be a packed day.
Oh.
It's the Sibelius Violin Concerto and
yeah.
Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I'm looking forward to that. And then the Enigma variations, that's the big piece. But so it's going to be a full day tomorrow, but or this day that you see this.
The Olympics is going on right now.
And the Olympics is going on. So there's plenty to entertain. And we're here. You know us. And if this is your first time, who we are is a pack of sisters. We like to do crafty things. We get together once a week. We bring our crafts and we chat a lot. So sit back, get your beverage of choice, and join us for a little chatty chat. I'm going to go first. This week, I'm very proud to say I finished one sleeve of my sweater. You can see, I didn't realize the decreases would be so prominent, but I think they're actually going to be under the arm, like this, so it won't be so.
You won't be able to see it
once it blocks out. Yeah. So for some reason in my mind this is the right sleeve, but I'm going to put it, doesn't matter, but I'm going to put it on my left arm. So hopefully it doesn't fall off, no stitches fall off, but the needle, but here is the sleeve in its fullness. This is my own design, if you will, from the Sweater Workshop book. I did the fullest sleeve, which has this big balloon sleeve in it. It doesn't look quite as balloony as the last one I made like this, I think for two reasons. One, because it's bulky weight yarn, and the other because I realized after I got some stitches off, hold on. After I did the bottom of the sweater, so here's the sweater body. After I did the sweater with this ribbing, and I did this entire sleeve with this ribbing, I was reading through the book and it said your ribbing size needle and your body size needle, and I was like, oh. Oops. So you're really supposed to do the ribbing in one needle size or two down, and I didn't. So so it's the same size needle. So I think that's part of why it doesn't look quite as different in size between the cuff and the volume of the sleeve. But I don't mind it. I liked it from the beginning. It may have been part of why, I don't know if you remember the first time I started this cuff, it was very loose around here. That may be part of it. So I should have used a smaller needle. It just makes your knitting pull in a little bit more and nice and a bit neater. But I think it looks great, and it matches. So I had to start the second sleeve on the same size needles. So this is the second sleeve. I just finished the ribbing, 2 inches of ribbing, which is for my gauge is 10 rows here, and it matches the other one. And now I'm going to create the sleeve volume. And this sleeve is just hanging out live stitches on this circular needle until I'm ready to join it. So the way I tried to explain it, but the way this works is once both sleeves are done, you basically use this yarn from the body, and you leave a few stitches open on the sleeve, and you knit around, and then you knit around the body, knit around the other sleeve, and then knit this way on the back of the body, and you go around all 3 pieces, and you do the decreases here in the neck. So this part, after all 3 pieces are done, this part goes very, very fast. So I'm thinking that this might be done in time for my deadline, which is the last week of February. Which is both stressful and exciting, because the last week of February is a very stressful concert week. So I'm also dreading that and also looking forward to this. So it's kind of this keeping me a little bit sane is knitting. So that's literally all I've done this week. I feel really accomplished that I was able to finish. I looked at our video screenshot from last week and I had this much sleeve done. So I'm excited that it went so quickly. And what's also fun is that this gauge is 5 rows to an inch. So it's very easy to keep track of where I am. And so this is the book that I'm using. And I noticed one of our viewers just got this, so that's exciting. Have fun going through that. And what I did was I have a remarkable Paper Pro, and one of the pages in the book is called the gauge page. And so I copied it, made a PDF of it, put it in my book, and then this second page I have here is all my scribbles of the sleeve knitting. So like what I cast on, how many rows of ribbing I did, and then when I increase, and then another increase, and then this is keeping track of my keeping track of the first part before I have to decrease, and then down here is keeping track of the rest of the sleeve. So I kept really close tabs, and when I make the second sleeve, I can make it identically. So that's I really like that because I did it all on paper for the first 3 sweaters that I made out of this book, and I'm like, that's dumb because now I can copy that gauge page and just put it in here and keep more. So
Did you give up on your temperature tree?
no, I just put it on pause because I really want to get this done by the end of February. So I put it on pause. My temperature tree, it's really cute, but I was thinking about it because I had a couple early mornings this week, and I'm like, you know what? I just want to get this sweater done. Because I'm going to wear it to a concert, even though it's probably going to be too hot.
Yeah, it's already pretty warm.
But at night, our box office is outside at night, so it will come in handy.
Mm-hmm.
So I have some stories, but other than that, that's me. And I think Beth is going next.
Yeah. I was just fighting with this thread. Put it in the right place because my brain isn't working. Okay. So I didn't really do a whole lot of stitching. I was basically monogamous, if you will.
I'm going to move the center piece. This is Eve's creation. It's so cute. I'm going to move this here so you can see Beth.
Yeah.
Well, she's got her own pile of crap.
Yeah, so I had a pile of crap.
So I don't know how much you can see her, but.
Yeah, so since last week, on the tail end of last week, I did a little bit of stitching on Sea Life, which is one of my new starts for January. It's a little kit that I bought at Hobby Lobby by Marianne Savage for Design Works. It's a bunch of these little kits that Design Works has. She designed a lot of them. So I just did, lots of just the little sea creatures. Like I did this lobster. I didn't do any of the back stitching on any of the creatures yet, or any of their eyes or anything like that. So I finished this the jellyfish body, except for the back stitching and some of the fish and things like that. So anyway, that was the end of January. So there goes the thing. Oh well. More on this hoop in a minute. This is the hoop that came with the kit. I'll talk about it in a minute. And the other, so beginning in February, one of my WIP-GO calls is Winterwood's Bescorn You by Janine, what's her name?
Janine
McGowan. I was going to call her McGovern, I don't know why. McGowan of the Blue Flower. And so I did this for Jingle Ball, was it last December?
Yes.
Yeah, this past December. It seemed like it was a bazillion years ago.
No, when was this the year?
But I worked on it, before Jingle Ball a little bit, but it's actually going to be huge because this is the how big it is, and it's about twice as big as Most biscornuses that I've made before are about half the size of this. So this is going to be really huge. And this is the one that I started working on the border last time I worked on it. I don't know, end of December or beginning of January, whatever it was. And I got over here. This is the one with the bird with the crooked legs, because I got down here and I realized I had made a mistake. And I also made a mistake over here, and I made a mistake over here, because I did this brown like branch thing. I started here in this corner and I came down this way, and I used that to start this branch and to start this branch. So any mistake that was in here was compounded. Compounded all the mistake, the branches in here. So the mistake was continued. So down here, this bird has crooked legs because I had to make him fit, And then up here, as I was stitching this, part of it is correct. And then by the time I got to where this owl is, it's incorrect, because I had to add an extra line here to make his feet hit, because his foot is supposed to be on this border line. And so I had to add an extra row of stitches here. So that means that this bird here, his legs are straight, but his body is like, there's one of the lines is like in the wrong place because he's like over too far or something. So little by little, I'm finding all the mistakes I made. But this squirrel is done, and he's correct. And so I've done like those little groups of berries that are off of here, and I've finished this owl. And this squirrel here is almost done. There's a little one color missing from his body here. And of course this crooked cardinal is done. And so I was doing a little bit of color completion. So this animal here, one of them is a lynx and one of them is a fox. And I think this is the fox down here. But so I did most of his body. You can't really see a whole lot of it because it's under this hoop, but it's okay. And then this up here, I think this is a lynx, I think. But I did his face here. And it also has a mistake because I think his eyes were too close together. I put one of the eyes in the wrong place. So I took out just one eye and redid it or whatever. And so there's one of the little white squares around the eyes is in the wrong place because his eye was in the wrong place. But I left the stitch there when I moved it over.
So it's all wrong.
It's all wrong. So I left the stitch there. So I'm just going to stitch over it with the color that goes there. But anyway, so I have just today to keep working on it. Right now I'm working on these trees over here, and I'm kind of hoping that I'll finish them, because if I do, I think I can almost finish everything that's in this corner. And then we'll see how my mistakes have impacted everything else. Like this little black thing right here is the tip of this creature's tail, and all that. So I'm trying to work on that. But today is the last day, and then I'm switching to probably the barn owl, which is my next big WIP-GO piece. That's all the stitching I've done, but I did do a bunch of purchases of things that I don't need.
Those are always the best kind.
Well, we went to Michael's one day, and then like a couple days later we went to Hobby Lobby. And Michael's, I was just tagging along because Eve needed to buy something there, and I was just tagging along.
I wanted to look at something.
Yeah, and I was tagging along, and it was the worst thing because, of course, that's when you buy stuff you don't need to buy. So I did that, and then when we went to Hobby Lobby, I needed to buy a skein of DMC thread because for whatever reason I couldn't find it anywhere. So I bought a lot of extra stuff there too.
Sorry about the crinkling.
Yeah, sorry about that, but I wanted to keep it because I have so much junk in here. So You just get everything out at once and get all the crinkling done at once. So,
Holy cow.
yeah.
Give me that back.
Okay, get out of here. So,
So noisy.
so when we were at Michael's, one of the things I bought, as if I needed any more projects, this is called Things I Don't Need. They had these paint by number kits
I saw
at
those.
Michael's. And they have like really huge ones,
Is that
really
right
tiny
side up?
ones. Huh?
Never mind.
And then these are on like round plywood discs, and all the paint by numbers printing is on the disc, and then you just you know, do the painting. And it comes with little brushes and it comes with little paint pots, whatever. And so I chose this one. There's all kinds of, you know, flowers and
I'm just laughing
animals.
because you.
well, actually, paint by numbers. I actually, you know, I've done that before.
Yeah.
Back, you know, I did
Well, that's all the diamond painting is.
yeah. Well,
It's
well,
the same thing.
yeah, but for some reason, I don't know. This is more familiar to me. And I've always said that cross stitching is like paint by numbers, right?
Yeah.
Because if paint by numbers, somebody else does the drawing and does all the little things, and it just tells you wherever there's a number 2, you paint this color. Wherever there's a number 3, you paint this color. And that's kind of how cross stitching is, right? Wherever you see this symbol, you use this color of thread. Wherever you see that symbol, you use that color of thread. So anyway, I bought this paint by numbers kit because what the heck, why not? And also at Michael's, but they also had this World of Cross Stitch magazine. And so there's like I said, there's a cat made into a like cushion kind of thing, but there's also this seashore scene, the lighthouse and some sea creatures and all that. And there's also this little Paris picture and, you know, various other things. So yeah, so that was kind of fun. And of course, it came with a free little kit, right? And there were 2 issues of this I saw, and they comes with like a little paper bag, and it has like a sticky seal on the bottom. Well, someone had unstuck the seal, and taken the kit because it was empty. But this one was fortunately, you know, intact.
Let me see the magazine. I like the magazine.
So it came with this little free kit, which is a Busy Bee keyring kit. So it comes with a little hexagon-shaped frame for the key, and it comes with Ada cloth and the threads for the bee, and it comes with a little keychain in it. So I thought it was fun. So I'm going to do that.
This
at
looks
some
like Hobbs.
yeah.
It's cute.
So yeah, it's fun, and there's lots of designs in there. So I got that, and then also at Michael's they had all their Valentine's stuff out, and they had this little heart ribbon stuff. It's just red ribbon with little hearts on it, and I bought that because, you know, if I ever finish anything again, I've got that ribbon. But then when we were at Hobby Lobby, one of the things I got, you know, the little thing that Naomi made is really handy, and I use it all the time. And it's got, you know, it's got this little, I don't know if you can see it all, but it's got these little paw print fabric on the inside, right? And the one thing that I wish that it had is it had a kind of zipper pull, because the head of the zipper is very tiny. So there's a thing you can grab a hold of, you know.
Yeah,
a ring.
I know, I made it.
Here,
The tab.
yeah. Yeah.
But it has a tab on that side too.
Yeah, but the zipper itself, the little head of the zipper is tiny. So I thought, well, I want to buy a little charm for it.
Alright.
So I found this little kitty paw charm at Hobby Lobby. And also, while I was at it, I grabbed this little elephant charm because you could never have too many elephants. And also, to go with that, I bought a little pack of jump rings and a little pack of clasps. So that's...
Mind you, all of our
Well, all our
pliers.
finishing stuff is in
All of
storage.
our pliers are in storage.
Yeah.
All of my finished cross stitch pieces are in storage. Yeah.
So, and I also bought this pack of double-sided tape. One thing I've watched several of Helen D's finishing things, and one of the things she talks about is using double-sided tape when she's like sticking two pieces of mat board together or something like that to make like the bottom of a stand-up or whatever. She uses that instead of glue because it's faster and you don't have to, stick it together and wait for it to dry or whatever. And so I thought, that might come in handy for some finishing things if I ever get around to finishing things before. But also then I want to pull up this little bag. I have these in the bag because I didn't want them to, leak and make a mess or anything like that. But I got some craft paint, and I kind of think I have this color somewhere here that I think I bought recently. I don't know. But I went ahead and bought it anyway just in case. But this is like just a tube of spring green, and this is a tube of blue. I think it's called
Those are actually
Southern
bottles.
Yeah, bottle. Southern Bluebell. So I bought these two colors because like I talked about that other hoop from the Sea Life thing. Where did I put it? Here. So if indeed I finish my little kit things in a hoop, I bought this for the owl kit. I don't know if it's the right size or if it's a little bigger, but we'll see. But anyway, so this is the hoop that came with the Sea Life thing, and then this hoop I bought at Hobby Lobby, and so I bought these paints to paint the hoop, to just gussy it up. Because the little black hoop that came with the owl kit, I don't like the way it holds the fabric. I just felt like it's thick and clunky. I didn't like it. Put this over there, please. So then I also bought this purple fabric as a backing fabric for the owl kit and possibly for the Sea Life kit. We'll see. And then I just bought some little foam brushes for the paint. And then the last thing I did was today we went to Walmart to get a few things, and they had, because they have all their summer barbecue kind of stuff, they also had these little, it's hard to see them here, they're little like condiment squirter jars, like you could put ketchup or mustard or whatever in them. And I had seen a video of somebody dyeing fabric, and one of the things she used was these little squirty bottles. She had smaller ones, I think, that were left over from like a tie-dye kit that she had done with her kids or whatever. And but the idea was that you put the dye in the little squirty bottle, and then you could squirt it on your fabric to make modeling or whatever. Like if you're dyeing your fabric green and you want blue on there, you can squirt little blue drops or whatever, and have more control over the colors, right? So I thought I might try that at some point for something when I dye fabric. And I think that's me.
Okay. So I am again working on, and I don't have a picture here with me, of course, Murder in the Garden by Hands On Design. I am almost to the point where I had to frog everything. I'm beginning to think that I shouldn't cross stitch anymore because I frog more than I stitch. But, I saw the mistake she made there. So this is where I am now. And I'm going to continue working on this and get a little bit further along. I decided to I normally do not use needle minders because I stitch in hand and they weigh down the fabric in one spot. But I decided on this fabric and on my berry fabric to go ahead and use a needle minder because I've lost these needles. In the last one I could not find it. I swept, it disappeared. It just melted into the ground or something. I even looked in the couch. I felt it hit my foot After that, who knows?
I hate that. I hate it when it's like it has to be here somewhere.
Yeah, so I put my glasses in my little thing that Naomi made. I'm going to show you my
I like that kid.
crochet first. So I'm not showing you my crochet blanket. I have been working on it. It just looks the same. You know, because I'm just putting that
Border.
thing around it, and yeah, it just looks the same. Now, I think I'm about ready to call this market bag done. I've gone 4 rows around, and I'm just trying to decide if I want 4 rows or 5. But
It
I'm
looks
thinking
so
4
nice.
rows is going to be done, and now Naomi wants me to make her one.
It was like, I know.
And I saw a different pattern pop up, and I'm like,
That's cool. Those are neat.
Yeah, so I the lady that did this design, she called it her Aldi bag, because at Aldi you have to take your own bags, and you need to take a quarter to use
The shopping
their
cart.
shopping cart. So
Or as they say
The buggy.
in Arkansas, a buggy. A buggy.
yeah, and that makes sense. Saves them from having to go chase down shopping carts in the parking lot. Saves money on stuff. But I wanted to go to Aldi because it is my understanding that they have fine cheeses. And Beth is always looking at the cheese like this. Because she has looking
I've
for
heard
a
good things
particular...
about Aldi, but I've never been.
Yeah, there's one close to us, so...
I want to try Sprouts too, because for the same reason.
I love Sprouts.
So, the reason I wanted to go to Michael's, and there's not a Michael's anywhere near us, but we were in town to film, I think.
Or-
We
or
were
the
near
bank.
oh, we went to the bank, that's what it was. We just happened to go into town to go to the bank, 'cause there's not one close to us, not our branch. I mean, our kind
It's
of
my
bank.
fault you went to Michael's.
No,
Oh.
it was needing to go to the bank. I had to deposit a check.
No, I know, but the reason you wanted to go to Michael's.
Yes,
It
she
was
sent
my
me a
fault.
picture of a book she saw there of crochet flowers, and I was like, "Oh, that looks cool. I want to go
This
look
is
at
right
it."
up your alley.
And then I was reading the book, and I was like, "I have the needles, but I'd have to get thinner yarn than what I have, and I want to get rid of the yarn that I have before I buy more yarn." That only worked kind of. I bought some more yarn. That's a different story. I'm not showing you that yarn today. So I was like, before I go down that rabbit hole, I want to use up the yarn I have. And I had thought I would just crochet a blanket the way Grandma used to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But while I was looking at that book, I saw these. And I chose the flower one.
What's funny about that is that when I sent her the picture of the book, I also saw those and thought, this is right up Eve's alley. And I almost sent you a picture of those too, but I don't know
And
why
it
I
has
didn't.
it has cards in it like playing cards. You know, it has instructions on the different types of stitches, but different types of and with the instructions on the back.
It's all different granny squares. That's what that is.
Different granny squares, and these are flowers rather than just plain granny squares. So all of them look like a flower. I don't care about the flower part. It's fun learning new stitches. And I said, if I do one a day, eventually my yarn stash will dwindle.
Mm-hmm.
You would think. They don't use a lot of yarn.
And you'll have a pretty blankie.
Yeah, I can eventually sew all these together. So this one, and you can't see the 3D on the screen. Even if I took a picture, you wouldn't be able to see that this is a good this
You can kind of see it.
far above the rest of it.
That's neat. Let me see. Oh, that's really neat. Yeah.
This one, the whole middle part is raised up.
Oh, that's pretty.
This one's flat all over, but I still like it, which is the front.
What I like
This is
about this, I've tried in the past to make like granny square blankets where you make the same square 10,000 times, and my brain
get bored.
can't do it. But this is
But
all
see,
different.
this, and then if I have the ones I've done turned upside down on the bottom, so that if I reach the bottom and I still feel like I need to use more yarn or whatever,
To start
I
over.
just flip them over and start over. This one. No, I'm not taking pictures of these. I'll take a picture of the stack of them. Not the stack, but you know what I mean.
Laid out.
And This is the one I did last night. Are the colors the same colors that are in the picture? No. Am I gonna buy the, no. I'm gonna make them with whatever color I have that is kind of sort of like that. And I told myself, if I just make one a day, now they take a lot longer than what I would think for making a traditional granny square, simply because I'm like, wait a minute, that's not right. I have to do this and that, because it's not a traditional granny square. You're making something, you know, in particular, and that's fine. So, and I started to work a little bit on the reindeer. I just went, my brain doesn't want to do this right now. Because just trying to figure out how to put all those little things together. It wants you to put the body part together before you crochet the head and the ears and the nose and the feet. And I was just like, okay, I'm understanding this. I laid it out. I'm done. But I have to sew them together, and that's challenging. So, in no particular order, Crazy Stitch, We Do Geek. I wanted to order some more of this DMC 4000. It's a variations yarn, and Michaels didn't have any. They just skipped that number. So I had to order it from Fat Quarter Shop, which should be here soon, hopefully, because I will run out before I get to the bottom, even if I skimp on what I'm going to use it on. So over here in this big spot is going to be a big 42. And I looked that up, and it on the picture I saw, it's on a black background with a white 42. So I was like, well, I don't want to put another white thing. This doesn't show up. You know, I was like, that's not going to really work. So I have to decide what color I want to make that 42. I might make it this same color, or I might make it that other color that I got. So anyway, I'm plugging away at that a little bit at a time. Every stitch plugs away, right?
Every stitch counts.
Unless you stitch it wrong, as in my.
Well, then it counts twice.
So I worked some more on Under the Sea temperature chart, finishing off this bottom part. I designed this for our Etsy shop. And I knew that I was off on this bottom count somewhere, but I was like, it's okay, I'll figure it out, it's okay. Well, I started to do this coral, and the coral's gonna run into this, so it needs to be further this way, so I guess I'm gonna frog it and stick it back in, starting up here, going down, and just figure it out from there. Or I'm going to change it and...
You just change the coral. Coral doesn't have any standard shape.
Yeah, except I want it to look like the pattern.
Oh.
So, I already thought about that. So, we'll see. And then, it has been particularly warm these days.
Yes.
So, I finished off... You see the last 2 days of January, it was warm, and I mean, it's been in the low 80s. Here's the beginning of the cat that goes next. I counted this several times, so if it's wrong, I'm changing the cat. You know, because you're start at his head and the tail is the last part, and if it doesn't fit in there, I'm just going to make it fit, because it was a challenge, to be sure, to get it to fit there. But we have been in the upper 70s, low 80s for a week now. It is hot outside, but in the morning, it's cold. You want a sweater.
I'm gonna argue with you and say it's actually really beautiful. I even took a midday walk, or 3 o'clock, and it was.
I took a walk
nice.
yesterday afternoon, and it wasn't unpleasant. But if you stand outside it starts to be unpleasant. So is it hot as in, July? No. But it's not hot, it's cold, it's hot for February. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
So the last couple of days of January, I wanted to do some more work on cranes and discovered that this blue part right here, I counted the next one off of this, and I've left off this bottom part. It's like little flowers going up, and I left off the leaf part of the flowers. So when I counted it over, this whole thing was wrong, and it would have run into the next crane incorrectly. So I had to frog that whole second one and fix the first one. And that's okay. I knew I wasn't going to finish it this year, but it's right now. So
You won't have to remember the mistake next year.
no.
Yeah, that's always good.
And then my new start, speaking of frogging,
Oh, no.
my new start, this wasn't because of a mistake exactly. Lindy Stitch's choir practice. And I'm doing it on this fabric that I dyed myself. And it looks like a very small start. This is the back of a head and an ear. Just go this way or just go this way? This way.
I'm just checking on a dog.
Yeah, they're just running around, having their best life out there, enjoying the fresh air. So it looks like a really, really, really small start, but I actually got further than this. This is 18 count Ada. I got further than this with 2 strands, and I hated it. I was like, I'm frogging that whole thing and going again with 1 strand. And I just like the way it looks a lot better. So I'm happy to just, if I have time, maybe I'll do some more on it, because I was enjoying it. But I was like, I don't like the way that's looking on there. So today I would start working on the shepherd. Do you see my picture of the shepherd? Remember I showed it to you with how far I was? I have the front cover. I have what I've done before. The pattern is not in the bag. I don't know where it is. I don't know if I moved it from that bag, from another bag into that bag. I took all of my cross stitch out and went quickly through the bags and could not find it anywhere. And I am terrified that I was cleaning up something and threw it away. I'm terrified of that. So I'm like, I'm going to work on something else. So I'll either work on choir practice or I'll continue to work on this. This is found in the Fall Projects Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher 2020. Yes, 2020 fall issue. And it is a Barbara Anna design, and it is called Trick or Treat. It is this kitty. I'm trying to, just a minute. Kitty,
Yeah.
kitty.
So cute.
Yeah.
So, I never really wanted to do the whole thing. I wanted to just do the cat with the pumpkins. Although now I'm like, well, maybe. I don't know. So, but I'm enjoying working on this. And I haven't worked on it tons. We've been running around a lot. But I did get quite a bit done. Kitty?
Oh, wow. That's cute.
This head is huge compared to the rest of its body. Giant head. So, I may work some more on that. I don't know. But that is all.
That's all. All right. It's time for question of the week. last week we asked you about your drive-through experience. We did get one person who shared that they were in a drive-through for 30 minutes because of a shift change. Ouch! That
I'm
sounds
sorry.
awful.
The shift change
Yeah.
should change it better.
Yeah, exactly. This week we are asking, because we know I guess we talked about one side, but I'm going to ask the other side. Super Bowl, yes or no? Who are you going for? I personally want the Patriots to win. And then the other question is, the other side of the coin is Winter Olympics. Are you watching it this year? And what sport are you looking forward to? I always really dig of course, the ice skating. Mm-hmm. I really enjoy that. But I do like...
I like bobsled.
Yeah, I like the skiing too. Downhill skiing. It's really cool. But
not that we
terrifying.
Watched it today.
Yeah,
I saw some guy. I think he was Irish, but it was a video. He's talking about like all the different Winter Olympics, and he's like, like ski jumping where you purposely fling yourself off a high mountain and all, and the skeleton sledding thing, where you're like inches from the ice, and and he's talking about like ice skating and hockey, where like you have blades on your feet.
Yeah.
So I saw somebody questioning. She goes, "I just don't know, what state is New England."
That's fair. That's a fair question.
Yeah, it's just a telling of the education system in.
I always remember when Naomi was going to get married, I was talking with some older ladies at my church. It was when I was living in Arkansas, and I said, "Oh yeah, my sister's getting married. She's her husband's from Baltimore. And the blah blah blah," and this one of the ladies, she goes, "Why does she want to marry a Yankee?"
If someone from Baltimore is considered a Yankee, you are really deep south.
Well, yeah. But when I was in Belgium, my dermatologist kept saying, "I keep thinking you're a Yank," and I'm like, "You mean U.S. citizen?
An American?
American?" She goes, "Yeah." I'm like, I'm from New Mexico. No.
Yankees are something completely different.
Yeah. No. She goes, "Really?" I'm like, "No." Those of you who live in a different country, the United States is incredibly big, and each region has its own its own personality, and each state, even inside those regions, have their own personality, and only very few will
claim Yankee.
Yeah.
So let us know what you're looking forward to in the Winter Olympics. Yes. By the time many of you are watching this, I will be sitting down watching the Super Bowl. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it will be a good game and not weird. What was I going to say? So if we're going into stories, so I had one of the worst days of my professional life on Monday.
Oh dear. Even worse than the changes that you've had to do.
Yeah, it was really a hard day. It was just kind of everything that could go wrong went wrong. But then the punchline is that the concert went beautifully, the two concerts. And so nobody, like if I said to my boss, "This was the worst day of my professional life," he would have been like, "What are you talking about? Everything was fine." So like I wanted to get there at 8 to get started on a lot of the things I had to do for ticketing, and I left but I was running a little behind, but I wound up leaving at 7:30, which really should have gotten me there by at least 8:30, full hour. And driving north from where I live to Scottsdale there's always traffic and it's always bad. However, we are now also in the Phoenix Open time. And,
no.
And much of Scottsdale is shut down. so there's a lot of traffic. Plus, it was a Monday, which Mondays and Fridays are usually better traffic-wise because a lot of people work from home on Mondays and Fridays, so there's a little bit less traffic. But because of the open and like all the traffic because of that, and then there were some accidents, I get in the car and it's telling me, at first it tells me 8:30, and then it starts to say 8:40, and it starts to say 8:45. Our office is open at 9. And then it like literally, it's like I was driving backwards. The time is keeps going. And it's telling me to get off the freeway here. I'm like, okay, so I'm in the turn lane, and I'm in the left of the turn lane. I'm going to move this. I'm in the left of the turn lane. So, there's 2 turn lanes, right? So as I'm sitting in the left, Google starts to say, there's a better route. Choose it. And it gives you that time to choose it or not. And I'm like, but what is it? I don't know. And I'm like, and then it chose it for me. And the better route was to get back on the freeway. But I was already here. So I turn, and I'm trying to think of its original. It was going to take me off this way to another street, blah, blah, blah. And I'm trying to remember what it was telling me originally, because obviously now it's telling me something else. So I turn, and it's telling me to do a U-turn and get back on the freeway. And I'm like, I am not getting back on the freeway, because I had just been like, stop. Uh-huh. So finally I go that way, and it takes me up Hayden, which I know, okay, my office is just off Hayden up there, but I know that it's closed between 2 streets between where I am and where my office is. I'm like, why is it having me turn up Hayden? So I turn up there, and then I'm stuck. And then I have to turn right again and get back on the freeway. So by the time I get to the office, I am MAD. And I was supposed to get, one of the things that we do is we offer our tickets to shows where we need to fill the hall a little bit. We offer tickets to something called Seat Junkie and something called VetTix. VetTix goes to veterans, and Seat Junkie goes to people who they sign up for a membership for a year, and then you can sign up for free tickets. And to places that want to fill their seats. So it used to be called Fill a Seat, but now it's called Seat Junkie. So I was supposed to get those lists at 9 in the morning, which was a mistake on my part. But the reason I consciously made that mistake, because usually you get them like the day before. You try to get them the day before, so you have time to process. But I asked them for 9 o'clock because I was trying to give it enough time for the tickets to be claimed. Because if you have a short window, you wind up not filling the seats the way you want. So I was like, well, if it's at 9, I can, if I get them at 9 and I get there at 8 o'clock and I do everything else, which I didn't do, I'll be able to have time to process. Now, was my mind really, sometimes I think I'm time blind because, and this is a bad job to be time blinded, because we had a 2 o'clock performance, which means if we have a 2 o'clock performance, the doors open at 1 and I have to be setting up by noon at the latest because I have to set up I told my colleague, we're like a traveling circus, and we have to build that Ferris wheel every single time. We don't get to walk into a box office that has a printer and and a computer. We have to put the computer, put the printer, hook it all up, get the tickets, set. So there's a lot of setup, and I like to be early, which means if I need to be at the hall at noon, I need to leave at quarter of at the latest. 11:30 would be great. It's like a 5-minute drive from the office, but parking, loading up the thing, blah blah blah. So we go back to last week. Last week, the list for one of those organizations was full early. They had sold out of them. So I wrote them and I said, can I please have the concert list early because it's sold out? And they said, sure. Now, I had a concert on Saturday and I had a concert on Monday. So it was the one on Monday that had sold out. So I said, can I please have that Monday list early? And they said, this was like Thursday. And they said, sure, I'll send it right over. And they sent me Saturday's list. And I wrote back and said, no, this is Saturday's list. What I was talking about was Monday's list. And like, oh, sorry, I'll send it right over. I didn't hear anything. And I think this was on Friday that I didn't hear anything. So I'm like, well, okay, it'll come Monday morning. And the reason I can't do it early is because the tickets are requested in one person, 2 people, 3 people, or 4 people. So I don't know how to put them together in the hall. And I like to fill basically the last minute front to back so that we fill the seats in a nice way. And I clump them 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. I do an order 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And I do, so one organization's order, and then the other organization's order 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And then I do 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 1s and 3s, there's not very many. And so I couldn't do it early, even though it was full. I couldn't just say, okay, I'll hold out this many seats, because they're done this way. So I'm like, okay, 9 o'clock. The other organization gets me their list 9 o'clock. So I start on that, and I still don't have it. So I write them. And I said I never got the list. It was due at 9. And they're like, oh, sorry, send it over right now. And they sent me the list for Saturday again. And I wrote back, and I'm like, I need the list for today. And finally, I'm calling, and I've sent, finally I get it. But it is 11 o'clock when I get it. And that is way too late, because I'm supposed to be at the hall at noon. I'm supposed to, at the very latest, I have to open doors and hand out tickets at 1. It's too late. So I am there like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And the other problem is that it's easier for our volunteers who are doing the box office to have those 2 lists combined alphabetically and then split A through L, M through Z, which is what I do when I have luxury of time. I get both lists, I do the orders, and then I combine them in Excel so that I have A through L, both organizations, and M through Z, both organizations. And I split that list, and one box gets that one list, and one gets the other. So it's a sort of concentrated thing that they have to look for, and they're not having to search the whole thing. And one organization sends the list, number of tickets, last name, first name. The other organization, in an Excel sheet, great, it's beautiful, you can manipulate it. The other organization sends it in the body of the email. It looks like a word table, and it's first and it's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's first and last name, and then in one cell, first and last name, and then the number of tickets. So I have to take that into Excel, move it all, and then do separate by delimiters, and then manipulate last name, first name. I have to do this whole thing because nobody wants to read down a list of first and last names and look for the last name. They're alphabetized, but you have to look for it. And I'm like, no, it has to be last name first. Anyway, so I'm trying to do all this, and my beautiful colleague comes into me and she said, what can I do for you? I said, please go to the hall. Fortunately, we had left everything there from Saturday. So I said, please go to the hall and start setting up. She said, I'm not exactly sure how to plug everything in. I said, it's okay. You know where everything goes on the counter. Just put it all up, and the plugs are easy. So I printed out the stacks, and I just had stacks. Usually I clip them, 2s, 4s. I put them all in, and I clip them. And it's beautiful. And I organize them front to back in the hall, so the first person who gets there gets the seat closest to the front. Because that way, if they don't show up, we don't have holes, right? So, oh my gosh. So I just go with fists full of tickets. And our volunteers are the most amazing humans. And I actually owe them, I need to write them a card, because those 2 women saved my life. Because one handled, and usually we split the line in 2, but I didn't have it split, and so I had one volunteer just doing traditional will call, names, and the other one doing the 2 organizations with the tickets. And
and saying, so sorry.
I know, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. So, but then everyone just came up in clumps, and I was like, so I went down the line. If you are Seat Junkie or Vet-Tix, go to this line. If you're traditional will call, go to that line. And these people are like, well, what's Seat Junkie? I'm like, if you don't know what it is, you belong in this line. I'm like, stop it, lady. Anyway, so, and one thing people have said is that, since this is my first season, people have told me there used to be these horrendous lines at will call and horrendous lines at customer service. And they're like, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen this year. Everything's going so well. You're doing so great. So the fact that there was a line was like, like, you know, I was, you know, wanting to really mitigate it. And I didn't even have the Vet-Tix for the evening printed. I printed them in between shows, and so everything went beautifully in the evening. But I swear I was crying like 3 times that day, just because I'm like, this is going to crash and burn. This is going to crash and burn. It's going to crash and burn, and it didn't. And everything.
As I always
well.
say, I produce disaster.
Yeah, but then like yesterday, I was going through my ticket boxes finally, because we have a show on Monday. And I was going through my will call boxes, and I have one that's called Future Will Call. So this is a thing when somebody calls and they say, I already, like if you've already printed a ticket or already emailed a ticket out or something, and then suddenly you want to pick them all up, if they've already been, you know, like you have to, it won't get caught in the batch print of will call. Or if they want to pick up all their tickets on this night, or if they want to leave tickets for someone else, they call, you know, say in April, I'd like to leave these tickets for Joe Schmo. I'm not going to remember that, and I don't have a tickler that in our system that's going to say, hey, these were for Joe Schmo. So I have to print them now, write Joe Schmo's name on them, and put them in my box for future. So in April, I go, okay, Joe Schmo, put him there. Every concert, I look through that future will call box, and I get the tickets for that concert, and I pull them out, and I put them in the regular for that night. Guess what didn't happen on Monday? And I didn't even know it. I know that we had a lot of people coming to us saying, my ticket's supposed to be in will call, and I didn't even think about the future will. I had the box with me that night. I had it right there. But I didn't think, oh, let me look here. And so I was just so flustered. I'm like, okay, here, I'll print them for you. And so I went to my colleague. I'm like, this is why we had so many reprints. Look at, there was like a stack this big of tickets I should have. It was just one of those things that got missed.
All because you were late to work.
No, well, there was a lot of factors.
No,
I hadn't prepared well. I didn't ask for the things in time, and I was late to work, and they were late sending me the list, and I did not think about, because this was a 2 shows on a work day, which and the other thing I had to spend time doing that morning. So I'm also in charge of the phone system. So I had, and in the past, before me, it wasn't done very well. And so I've been revamping and streamlining. But I realized, and in my state of being, I'm like, I cannot remember exactly how to turn the phones off. So I just called the phone company, and I was like, I'm sorry, I need you to help me walk through it. And they are so great. They were like, do this, do this, do this. I created a message, you know, because I'm like, this is the first time we've been closed because of a show. So I want a message that says, we're not open due to our afternoon performance, you know. So I didn't want it to just ring, and I didn't want it to be we're closed on the weekends or at night, because that wasn't the, you know. Anyway. So that was another thing I had to spend time doing that day. And so I was just to the nth degree so stressed out. And then everything went well. And so it's like almost like if it was a disaster, I could be like, this is horrible. But I couldn't even do that, because everyone would be like, what are you talking about? So anyway, it was a tough day, and we're all February is going to be like this.
So do you remember whenever we'd go to a store or something, a little kid run up to mom and say, oh, hi, you by Mrs. Martinez? And, you know, because she taught him the year before or whatever.
Yeah.
So Beth and I were at Walmart and they were selling Girl Scout cookies, and I went over there and I mentioned to the little girl, I said, "You look so much like the little girl I taught last semester," you know, and then we left. And I went back because I was thinking about buying one more box so Robert doesn't eat all my cookies. and she had remembered. She goes, apparently she told her mom after, "That was my teacher."
Oh, cute. I was at Costco the other day and I looked at this kid. I had seen him at different times in the store, and then finally we wound up being close to one another with his mom. He's an adult kid now. At the registers, and I was like, "Is that Jordan?" And his mom was like, "Yes." And so he kind of remembered me and took a picture with him. It was cute because I used to work in a school also.
Yeah.
But that's funny because now they're all grown up. I feel like my mom, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, you know, I was thinking about that the other day. I don't remember why I was thinking about the triplets that I used to babysit, you know.
How old they must be now?
Yeah, because, well, I remember like at one point I had thought about, you know, how old they were or whatever. Because I think around the time that, it must have been around 2004, I think, because my mom was staying with me. I think I was getting ready to have surgery. I don't know what, but it was in the early 2000s. And I got in the mail, I got a graduation announcement from the older girl. There was an older, when I babysat them, the kids were like up until like from one-ish, 15 months or so, till they turned 3, I think, and started preschool or whatever. And so the older girl, though, you know, she was like school age, you know, 11-ish, I think. I think around the time that I finished with them. So you know, when she graduated, not too long after, but she sent me a graduation announcement. And so, you know, I remember thinking, gosh, you know, she's all this, you know, the kids are that age, whatever. And so at one point I kind of, you know, looked into that and so the triplets were all like, you know, young adults or whatever. But now I'm thinking,
They probably have kids of their own.
I think they're in their 30s now. And, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, you know, it's like, oh, that was such a long time ago, because it was.
Your nephew's about to turn 30.
Yeah, they're about
Yeah.
the same age, yeah.
I know.
And that means
crazy.
that the older girl is, you know.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh my God, they're so old now. They're little
That
bitty.
means you're old now.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but it's so strange because you well, this little girl didn't look remarkably different. She looked virtually the same. But you're like, is that the girl I remember? And that's why I said you look so much like a little girl I taught last semester.
Well, I remember my mom said one time she was at the grocery store and she was talking with somebody and they said something about, you know, I don't know if they knew or if they asked her if she had kids, or I think they knew that she had kids and they asked about her, something like that. But she was thinking, she said she goes, I got to thinking, they're not kids. My kids are all old people now. They're all adults now.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
I know. My kids are so old. Oh. In the news of fiber, I think my ball winder, my yarn ball winder is dying.
Yeah.
I tried to. You probably can't tell, but this looks a lot different.
Yeah.
Because I tried to wind this 3 times, and it just kept. It like would just pop off the. I think it's skipping or something. It's doing something weird. And I told Mark, I think it's time to buy a new and possibly expensive ball winder. I want a wooden. He goes, what kind what do you mean? And so then I was looking, and I know that one kind was recommended on a podcast, and I can't remember the name of it, so I've got to find that. But But
Mine
yeah,
wasn't expensive.
huh?
Mine wasn't expensive. I got it off of Amazon.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm thinking like I'm kind of wanting one of those like handcrafted wooden ones that just like sit, those heavy ones that do like heavy duty kind of.
The only frustration I have with mine is that it keeps wanting to turn and slide off the TV tray because I clip it to the TV tray.
Yeah. So that's fun.
Oh, I want to say that the thing I've been thinking about now is Nashville Needlework Market coming up. They're doing how they did the Night Garden thread pack. They're doing a, what is it, Under the Sea, I think is the theme. They're doing the Stitch the Rainbow. They do
Sea life.
a
or
thread
something.
pack, and it's So
So
there's several patterns that are associated with that, and that use those four colors, and their cottage garden threads are the four colors that they're using, and there's one that by Tiny Modernist that's a bunch of sea creatures that's really cute. There's one by who is it, the anglerfish one?
Boomerang
Stitches. It's this huge fish, like with this giant maw with a pointy teeth, and the anglerfish has that thingy.
And there's
Mark is terrified of that fish.
So it shows
I
that
always
fish.
thought it was big, but then when
little.
one washed up on the shore, it was like only like this big.
Yeah.
in one's hand.
But
But
there's
the Tiny Modernist one isn't one of the Stitch the Rainbow ones, isn't? Because it's bigger.
no the one with all the sea creatures. Yeah, it is. I think.
I thought it was bigger.
But the anglerfish. There's also a seahorse. There's one. What is it called?
It looks like a little.
There's one called a something or other jellyfish.
Yeah.
Man of War.
No, it's something. What is it called?
I don't know, but
But
they're
it
all
had-
popping out, and
Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
the colors that are in this. It's a 4-pack.
Mm-hmm.
The colors are gorgeous. They're
Mm-hmm.
absolutely stunning, and so when you see them in these designs, and I like ocean and fish, and okay, I don't like fish.
She doesn't like to
eat
eat the fish. She likes
Right.
to look at the fish.
And I don't want to be in the ocean with them swimming around me, but I like looking at them. and so I'm like, well, I was not going to buy anything at this Nashville. I was going to try to, stitch down my stash, but
now.
I may have to. And I'm like, well, maybe I can use the DMC alternatives. Only these threads are so beautiful. They're so beautiful.
Oh gosh. Oh, I was going to ask you. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. A couple of people have commented, and one person asked for information on how you guys dye fabric, and I just sitting here was thinking, do we want to do a video on you just dyeing fabric and how you do it?
I think that would be fun.
That'd be
Yeah.
fun. If you guys are interested in that, let us know in the comments, because we can do that. We can do a little departure and do a kind of a how-to of how they.
Yeah, I've had people
Dye fabric.
talk to me, mention to me like one the
That's-
followers on my
Beth's fabrics are stunning.
Yeah.
on my channel asked, she said that she was kind of afraid to dye her fabric. And I said, it's really very easy, because I mean you can get as complicated or as simple as you want, just depending on the effect you're looking for and all that kind of thing.
But I think you've gotten it down to an art.
Yeah, but it's
Both of you.
yeah, and it's really I watched like several tutorials and I finally found one. I thought, you know what, that makes it very simple.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when you kind of look into dyeing, it talks about using fixatives and things like that. But a lot of the ones that I saw early on that mentioned that are talking about like dyeing fabric. Like this is a T-shirt that I think we did
Tie dye.
yeah. Some
We did
time
a
ago.
video on it. Yeah.
Yeah. And the difference is that this is something that you're going to put in the washer, a bazillion times over your lifetime, right? And cross stitch fabric, you're not going to put it in the washer. At most, you might hand wash it to, some people hand wash their stitching after they've handled it, and sewn on it. They wash it before they finish it. But I used to do that once upon a time, but I don't do that anymore. I'd rather wash my hands first before I stitch, and then whatever oils are on there, if I can't see them, I ain't worry about it. But yeah,
So let us know if you'd like to see a video.
There's very, very easy ways to do it if you want to do it, and so if you want to see it, we'll do a video of that. Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say, what you were talking about. You don't like to be in the ocean. I got stung by a jellyfish once. Yes.
That was awful.
It was, and I had on my legs. I had little ding 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 ding, little like sting marks on my leg, and I just imagined like all the little tentacles.
Gross.
And I also got a fire coral spot on my arm once. We were snorkeling in the ocean, and I thought it was somebody. I felt the scrape, and I thought it was the edge of somebody's flipper, their scuba flipper or whatever. And I turned to like apologize because that I was bumping into someone, and I looked and there's a buoy there, and I'm like, fire coral, and all of a sudden my arm was burning, and
So
I had a little oval there that looked like orange peel.
the dogs are telling us that.
Yes, the dogs.
And I've got to go get my car.
Yes, the dogs are ready to come in. So
I've got to go. I have one story to tell you. One last thing. The other thing that's happening in this state right now, in this part of the state, is the Cactus League spring training baseball league, and it starts in February 20th and goes through the end of March, and it's a lot of fun because it's like little stadiums. The tickets aren't a lot. You can go sit on the lawn. You can have a picnic and just watch the game, and it's really fun. And I haven't been in years, and after this horrible week, on Wednesday, I was talking about it with one of my colleagues. I said, oh, and by the way, on Teams, I was like, by the way, when is our spring training day again? Like, when we go and just sit on the lawn, eat a hot dog. And my friend was like, oh yeah, that'd be great. That's what my firm used to do, huh? And I said that, and then I'm like, oh wait, I must have fallen asleep at my desk and been dreaming. Ha ha ha. Well, on my way out of the office, my boss had his door open, and I was saying, hey, have a good night. And I said, oh, deadpan serious, because he does this, he jokes with me all the time. I said, I forgot to confirm when I was hired, and he kind of sits back in his chair. I said, we do have a spring training day, right? Where we get to go and eat a hot dog and sit down. And he goes, he smiles and he goes, no, but that's a great idea. And he's like, when does it start? And I said, it starts February 20th. So he's like, well, that's a really good idea. And, he's like, thanks for suggesting that. And I was like, oh, that's fun, right? But
There's tons in Scottsdale too.
Oh yeah, and I was like, I thought that's cool. He likes that idea, but I'm thinking, and I'm thinking about our calendar, and it's really because not just our big performances, but we have like continuing ed for seniors like every day. So I'm like, pipe dream. Well, in staff meeting the next day, he's like, thanks for suggesting this. We're going to go to a game. Which day works for all of you? So on the 6th of March, we're going to shut the office down. And we're going to go to a baseball game.
Yeah,
so
fun.
I'm so excited. Like yesterday,
That's so much fun.
After working, my colleague and I were talking, and I was like, yeah, it's we're always like, I was like, but we're one day closer to baseball. I'm so excited. So we hope you guys are having a great February so far, and I hope your team wins this afternoon, and that all of your Olympic dreams come true. And we thank you so much for joining us one more week for all of our nonsense. Our dogs are crying outside. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.